Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Kearney show. I said what I said. I'm so excited tonight to have another wife in the building. Oh, she is the one. She is the diva of the wives. So let me tell you all this. She's gonna come in here correct, direct, and I just want you as wives to listen. I want you to listen. I want you to learn. I want you to take in what she's saying. We have a lot of failed marriages going on right now. We have a lot of women who feel like they're being attacked. But I like to say this: when you feel like somebody is holding you, when somebody is attacking you, when they're really holding you accountable, there's some things that you may need to learn. So I'm going to bring my girl in right now. I'm going to bring in Miss Elaine, I'm sorry, Elaine Johnson. Hey, Elaine,
Hey, greatness.
how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for saying yes. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it, girl. So I want you to just tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yes. So, guys, my name is Elaine Gonzalez Johnson. I am a serial entrepreneur. Most people know me for Latinas in Motion. It's a nonprofit I created in 2010. So, I've been at it for 10 years. But God is so good. And so, from Latinas in Motion, I was able to have the opportunity to share my story. So, I'm a speaker. Holla at your girl. I created a planner called Plan Pray Slay. I just realized there was a deficit on how I manage my time, how I manage my day, and how other people don't do those things that I feel like are so true and so valuable to have whole life success. My purpose in life is to share my story with as many women as possible to know that you can absolutely have it all. I think that the media and people make us feel like we can be either or. We can be a great wife or we can have a great career. We can be a great mom or we could have a great business. And I don't believe that. I believe my God is a God of ands, not of or. My God is a God of a slash, right? So I'm a great wife slash great entrepreneur slash great mom. And so I absolutely love having these conversations because these conversations are not being had enough, y'all. Okay. So if you want to hear more from me, I totally live on Instagram. I know you're rolling your eyes, but Instagram is my baby. I'm on Facebook, tiptoeing into TikTok right now. But definitely, any questions? I'm definitely here. Holla at you,
We can leave now.
girl.
You know, we can leave now because Elaine said something that was so important. She said, I am living my purpose. I am walking in my purpose. And I tell people all the time that God gave me epiphany one day sitting on my bed, Elaine. And I said, God, am I living on purpose? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And I heard God say clear as a bell. Your purpose is to serve the people that I assigned to you through your gifts, your talents, and your experiences. And I said, wow, I'm actually living my purpose. So I love it that you really are living your purpose because you are serving the women, the people that God assigned to you through your
Absolutely.
talents and your experiences. That's how I know our God is good. So I have you on here, one, because like you said, some people say that women can have a good career, be a good mom, have a good career, be a good wife. And I want you to talk a little bit about how you balance a career and a healthy marriage.
That's a great question. So, for those of you who don't know, my husband is the moon. My husband is the moon. Okay. So, I married a fine black man who also is an educator, who also is a doctor, who also is a principal. So you take all these things, right? And oftentimes women or partners will lose themselves in, okay, so my husband or my spouse is has this great title and he's doing this and he's doing that. And so you kind of feel like, well, let me take the back seat, right? Let me manage the home, let me manage the kids. But whatever God has ordained, called, and anointed Daryl to do, Daryl's my husband, doesn't take away for the calling and the anointing over my life, right? And so oftentimes you can be a supportive spouse without losing yourself in the title of what is this wife. I think the best thing that I did for my marriage is I defined what a healthy marriage, what a healthy relationship, and what a healthy wife looks like for me. I know for a fact, I don't know about you, I know for a fact for me, if I was just Daryl's assistant, I would resent him, right? Because I still have purpose. I still have dreams. I still have goals. So we're often having these meetings. We have weekly meetings, judge me if you want to, but of like, okay, what big projects do you have going on this week? What big projects do I have going on this week? And how can we support each other so that we can both support each other in this journey? I think that's really hard for people because these are hard conversations. Yes, my husband is the moon. Yes, I want to see him win. But I too want to win. I too have purpose. I too have goals. I too have this anointing over my life. And so we had to define what our marriage would look like for ourselves. What does that mean? That means that your girl, y'all can clench your invisible pearls or not. I'm not cooking every day. The way my life is set up, unfortunately, I can't cook every day. So either you're cooking too, or we're going to get on this real good meal prep system. You know what I'm saying? That means that we're joining forces. Okay, if I'm taking my son to karate on Monday, then you're taking our son to karate on Thursday. Again, how can we divvy up and conquer this thing called life? Because here's the thing that I know that I know that I know. When I go to sleep at night, I'm good with me. When Daryl goes to sleep at night, he's good with him. And so what doesn't make sense to other people, you guys got to know, I'm Puerto Rican, okay? My mom, very conservative. My mom, very much Latina. So like she's cooking every single night. Her house is clean from the second she wake up to the second she goes to bed. And so me as this, in her 30s, got married, I married Daryl when I was 22. I had to unlearn so much that I thought was the definition of a good wife because I saw my mom cook all day, clean, take care of kids. I thought that's what a good wife was. And so if I'm not cooking every night or if my house isn't spotless, then I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing a good job. Daryl don't care about that. Daryl does not care about that. Daryl cares if, number one, am I supporting him? Number two, am I adding to his vision for this family? Number three, am I dipping it low and picking it up slow, right? Like these are the top three things that are important to him. And so if we're not having those conversations of, okay, where's your love tank at? Where's my love tank at? How can we coexist? Then how would you know? Men are not mind readers, y'all. Like they're not. They are very much black and white. We're the gray. We are the gray. Oh, well, if he's doing this and he's not doing that, and no, just have the conversation.
Come on. Every time she says something, we could just leave. Because a lot of the wives are having a problem with me because I, a lot of times, remove the man from the equation and hold the woman accountable for her part in the breakdown of the relationship, right?
Right.
Say, no, I'm not talking about your husband. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about, are you being the best, highest version of yourself? Are you happy with you? Like you said, at night, I go to bed at night and I'm good with me. Daryl go to bed at night and he good with him. We have a lot of women, and we talked about this with another guest, who are matching their husband's energy. So if he's having a bad day, I match his energy. How do you guys deal with, again, we know black men go out in this world and they get ripped.
Yo, you must be reading my mind. So go ahead.
No, I'm gonna let you go.
I think like for me, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a woman of color, but I'm married to a black man. I'm light skinned, guys. I have to accept my privilege. Until I speak and people hear my accent, I walk in with a privilege that my husband does not have. Being a black man, a doctor at that, a principal at that, he just turned 40. There are so many people who do not want to see this man win. Say it or not, you can talk about it or not, but that is the truth. He is dealing with generational trauma. He comes from a very amazing family. It's in his spirit of what's going on in this nation. You cannot tell me that you looked at George Floyd and didn't tell me that didn't affect every black man in this world, okay? And so even if he's not verbalizing it to me, it's in his spirit. I feel that. And so how dare I add more to his fuel, add more to his flame? I'm supposed to be home. when he walks through those doors, he should feel safe. He should feel like, yo, when I'm in this house, I feel whole, I feel complete. I can let my guard down, I can let my walls down. And that's an environment that has to be cultivated, y'all. Everything's not going to be spoken about. He's not going to walk in the doors and say, you know what, I feel this heaviness in my spirit. No, a lot of it comes from, where are you with you? Where are you in your relationship? And where are you with God? When I tell you I pray heavens down for this man, I do. Like, it's, you have to know what men, and it's not just Black men, right? Men are providers. Daryl's making sure, do we have housing? Do we have food? Are my kids safe? Is my wife safe? That's how they think about. We as women, I won't say all women, but for me, I'm very much in the details, very much in the details, right? So what do we have to get done this week? And how are we going to hit these goals? But he's more of the visionary. If he's the visionary, then I'm in the details. And that's why together it works. That's why together it wins. But you have to understand, what is your position? Because we have a mission, but we have to think about, okay, what position are we taking? We both cannot be the CEO, right? Somebody got to be a co-pilot. And I'm not saying that that has to be in every aspect of your life. When it comes down to these kids, I'm definitely the pilot. He's a co-pilot, right? Because his job is so hectic, I'm here with the kids more. So I could tell him, okay, Eva has choir, Ian has this, and he's co-piloting that, John, right? It's like, and I don't want you guys to think, oh, well, it's a man and a woman thing. No, if the man is working from home and he's with the kids more, then that's where you're the pilot. And it doesn't matter. You have to understand, okay, there's pockets for everything in your marriage. There's a financial pocket, there's a children pocket, right? There's a wellness pocket, there's a spirituality pocket. And we have to understand what our strengths are. We do. Girl, I get passionate about this because it means so much to me.
That's why I got you here. And I want the wives to understand that we have to be willing to lead from behind sometimes and not feel stop listening to media. Stop looking at these couples goals and look at what's going on in your house. Love on your husband the way that he needs to be loved on. Adore him the way he needs to be adored. Affirm him the way he needs to be affirmed. Like, we love men the way we want to love them, right? And then we don't get the result that they want. We say, I do this, I cook, I clean, I do, and he doesn't want that. Like you said, Daryl won't care about them things. Daryl cares about me supporting him. So let's talk about communicating.
Yes.
Right? So we all have different styles of communication. And a lot of times we don't give men the space to breathe and process. What does communication look like in your house? And how did you get to that point?
Yeah. So Daryl and I, in terms of our marriage, we call them weekly meetings. Just because we both have so much going on that it's like, I need to know what's the priorities this week, right? Like tonight, for example, I had to go to parent teacher back to school night for our son Ian, and Daryl had to run back to school night for his school. So, okay, I'm piloting for my son and meeting his teacher while he's out living on his purpose, right? So, but if we're not having these conversations, I have friends that, you know, I know for a fact that the wife has a plan to go to a spa, but the husband has no idea. Weekly meetings are so important in making sure that we're on the same page, especially in a marriage. Like, your finances are involved, your children are involved. If you got a dog, if you got like whatever it is, we have to be on the same page so that we can literally co-pilot this thing, right? And that we're going in the right direction. Because here's the thing, if we're on a plane, pilot, co-pilot, whoever's taking those roles, and we don't know where we're going, what are we doing? That plane is either going to crash, run out of gas, or not reach its destination. And I don't want that for you. And so we have to make sure that we're having these weekly meetings so that we know in what direction we're moving. Because here's the thing that I know, even small steps forward, you're going forward. too many times people are like, oh, well, I don't know how to get through this rough patch. Let me tell you something. I've been married 13 years. If you guys think everything has been rainbows and butterflies, it has not. But I have committed to knowing that even if we're taking small steps, we're still moving forward, boo. And so those weekly meetings that we have in our marriage are super helpful. Making sure that we know how we both communicate, right, Trey? So, like, if I know that Daryl needs time to process, I'm not going to be in his face like, you better tell me what you're thinking, and I didn't agree with that, and da 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 da. No, like, absolutely not. If I know that he's more of a thinker and has to process it, that means that even if I'm mad, even if I have an attitude, I have committed to giving him that space to process whatever is going on. Another thing that we have to know and consider, we have to set boundaries on how we're going to communicate in 13 years. So I don't need you guys to tell me like, oh, she's faking and she's not being real. No, in 13 years, Daryl and I have never, ever, ever cursed at each other. Not a
Hmm.
F you, not a see you later, not a B word, not nothing. Not even in we speak like this. Now, sometimes my accent get the best of me. And sometimes I gotta sit on my hands to make sure I'm not doing too much. But we have this honor and respect for each other. You have to come into your marriage with a reverence of knowing that what we have is special, because it really is. It really is. I honor my marriage. I want to make sure that this thing go down as a legendary relationship, and I treat it as so. And I treat it as so. I don't treat Daryl like a regular bull. I don't. I treat him like the king that he is. And he treats me again like the queen that I am. We want to receive so much, but we give nothing.
Hmm.
It's like if you continue to make withdrawals and you're not making any deposits. You got to make some deposits, boo.
Oh, I love this. I love this. You said two things that were so good. Two things. Y'all have never cursed at each other.
No.
And I want women to understand this. And I want men to understand this too, because a lot of us come from dysfunctional backgrounds and we think that's just a part of communication, cursing and screaming and yelling. And I want people to understand that it's possible to, for both parties in a relationship, to actually control themselves. It's possible to set that boundary to say, please don't ever curse at me and I won't curse at you. But we think, and I'm speaking for the Black community especially, that cursing at each other is normal. And it's not. It's disrespectful and it's not normal. So we have to listen. Like you said, I know a lot of people gonna say, oh, she just sugarcoating because I know they curse at each other. No, they really don't curse at each other, because we could believe all of the negativity and all of the BS, Elaine, but we can't believe that a couple could actually not curse at each other ever in a 13-year marriage. And I just want people to understand, it's sad that we believe the negative things, but we can't believe that somebody actually respect each other enough and respect their marriage enough that they would not disrespect each other in that manner. And another thing you said, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, and I know that you and I are going to be on one accord, but we set that foundation when we were dating.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, you have to have these conversations when you're dating of like, from here on out, we're committed to not cursing at each other, because here's the thing, right? This is why we don't curse at each other. And if you're watching this, I hope this inspires you to stop. If you are, foul language, they're like seeds.
mm,
And even if you say, I'm sorry, even if you apologize, once you belittle someone, and we're going to speak about men, right? Because I do a lot of self work around marriages. Because, guys, I'm not coming at you because I had a two-parent household. My dad is a good person, the most raggedy husband. And
mm,
so that trauma that I grew up with, I knew what I didn't want for myself at all. I didn't want to be in a domestic violent relationship. I didn't want to be with someone who didn't keep their promises. I didn't want to be with a man who didn't value family. And so for me, I had to make those decisions of, how am I going to break this cycle for myself? I wasn't even thinking about my children at the time. How am I going to make sure that as a woman, not only do I heal, but I make sure that I find joy in the process of healing as well? And so these are the conversations I had when we were dating. And I want you to consider that men, what they need, y'all could agree with me or not agree with me. Men need respect and they need intimacy.
Ooh.
And when we talk about like, oh, F you and you ain't ish and you never were, blah, 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 that's literally breaking down their need. That is a spiritual need that they need. And so even if you come back and be like, babe, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it, you have planted that seed in his spirit. And whether you like to believe it or not, that seed is going to grow. And
Mm.
so why don't we plant better seeds? Because here's the thing, even if he never tells you again, like, babe, Trey, that really hurt my feelings, blah, 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 it's in there. And so when the world is telling him, you ain't ish, you'll never be this, you'll never be that, the person that he supposedly loves, who's supposed to be in his corner, thinks the same thing, or he thinks that she thinks the same thing, that's hurtful. And that's going to take a lot of healing to get through that trauma.
Respect and intimacy. Let me tell you ladies something. Y'all so mad at me because I tell y'all things. I tell y'all there's certain things that a man needs. And then I'll say to you, if he's not getting those things, Elaine, this is what I'm trying to teach the women of the wives, girlfriends, fiancés, those who desire to be wives. If you are not giving your man the respect and intimacy that he needs in his house, if you starve someone for so long, they're going to get food from anywhere. If you take water away from a person for so they will drink anything, and the women get mad because they say, oh, you side chicks is and you promoting side chicks, and it ain't no reason in this world for a man to cheat. And I'm saying there's no excuse for cheating. Hopefully he just leaves. That's what I hope. I hope he leaves if you cut intimacy out or if you stop respecting him. But the reality of the situation is that men need sex. Even when you're mad, a lot of women withhold sex. A lot of women use sex as a weapon. I just want you to talk about that just a little bit to the wives.
So for me, knowing that that is a need, it's, guys, listen, I'm gonna dip it low and pick it up slow. Like I think sex is such a gift in your marriage. And sometimes even if you're mad, it's such a good reset. Like it's such a good, okay, let's reset this thing and start right back over. And also I meet so many women who are not comfortable sharing what they like and what they don't like. And so have those hard conversations. I pinky promise, if you married a good man, he's going to want to gift you as well. He's going to want you to receive these gifts as well. Now, I have conversations. I'm sure Trey has had conversations as well where it's not reciprocal, but intimacy is a really big thing in the Johnson household. I read this book. I want you guys to write this down. This was a game changer for me. I read this book called What's It Like to Be Married to Me? What's It Like to Be Married to Me? You could Amazon Prime that thing. I think the author's name is Linda Dillow. I apologize, Miss Linda, if I got it wrong. That book is such a game changer. And you want to know what this lady talks about most of the time? She talks about sex and how she had surveyed so many women who don't feel comfortable either having sex, don't enjoy having sex, have trauma from maybe being molested or raped. And so now you're in this marriage and you don't want to have sex. Either way, heal yourself, boo, because two broken people will only cut each other. And so you have to make sure that you're doing the internal work to make sure that you're good with you so that you can be a complete whole person in this marriage. Like for me, knowing that sex is such a high priority need for Daryl, it's a high need for me too. Like there is nothing more magical than physical touch. And it doesn't even have to be sex, just a hug. My husband knows to hug me at least twice a day because I need that instant endorphins. I see you, you see me. And so start having the conversations, start figuring out what you like. Listen, I don't know about you. No one really talked about sex. I love that Trey is talking about sex. Even when I got married and did marital counseling, we didn't talk about sex. And so you go into these marriages thinking that sex is one way, and then whatever experiences you both are coming into, right? You're thinking sex is another thing. Have the conversations with each other. What will turn you on? What do you enjoy? What makes you happy? What's off the table? I guarantee you, you start communicating that thing and y'all start figuring out which buttons are what. Y'all you gonna be the next guest on here.
Ooh.
You gonna be the next guest on here.
Right. And again, you said something good again. You always talk good stuff though, because I love you because you practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? and you live what you teach. But you said something, it is so important. Intimacy is so important, and men thrive on it. And not only is it good for him, but it's good for you. And another thing you said, you need to know your own body. You need to know your own body. And I don't mean, you know what? I'm not, we grown here tonight.
Right.
A lot of women are not reaching their peak because you don't know how to reach your peak. I can guarantee you, if I go with any man, I know how to get myself satisfied. I know what I need and how to get that done with a man. Even if he don't know, I know what
Honey,
to do.
you better direct it.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying though. And a lot of women are like, oh, he doesn't know how. And no, you need to know your body. You need to know if you need to be up, down, side, over. You need to know what it is that you need. And you cannot be ashamed of that. And you can't lay there and pretend. And like you said, expect him to know and then be mad when he's done, but you didn't say or show, no, do this, slow down, let's hold up. So go ahead.
No, because like this is so good. And I know that this is so good because this is so important, y'all. Like, I know that you guys are thinking, like, here they go talking about sex. Sex is a major, it's up there, y'all. It is up there. And we don't have these conversations, especially as women. It's so taboo. It is so taboo to be a woman and to be secure in her sexuality. But like Trey said, you need to know what you enjoy, what you like, and communicate that thing. Even if you don't want to tell him, like, when you're, in the act, once you find the pocket, the window to say something, hey babe, you know what I really enjoy? X,
Right.
Y, and Z. Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to make, because here's the thing. Sex for men and women, there's a level of vulnerability, right? Like, you're literally naked. There are some people who are comfortable in that lane. There are some people who are not comfortable in that lane. But you have to know this. This is what I know about Daryl. I'm not even going to speak for whoever y'all married to. What I know about Daryl, his love for me, because he loves me, he wants to make sure that I'm satisfied. And so he's down for whatever is going to get me to the finish line, and vice versa, right? I'm not sitting up in here like, oh, well, I'm just a receiver. No. Because I love him, I want to make sure that he's satisfied. Yo, and this ain't even a Trainee Lane thing. This is in the Bible, okay? Don't make me pull out no scriptures.
Oh, we get ready to go to church. We get ready to go to church on that with the sex, what the man need in the Bible, because we could go there too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not an Elaine and Trey thing. I don't want you guys to get up here and be like, oh my gosh, no, like, this is biblical. Like, we practice what we preach, y'all. So, like, open up yourself to whatever it is. Like, whether that be dressing up to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel more confident, whether that be, putting yourself in environments where you feel like for me, guys, y'all, I'm gonna share this. This is probably TMI, but I'm gonna share this. Anytime I have an opportunity to be in a hotel, I'm gonna do it. I don't care if we're going to DC. We have friends and family in DC, but guess what? I'm staying at a hotel because a hotel makes me feel like Elaine 2.0. Try it. Try it. Like, you have to start to feel like, okay, when do I feel like my best self? Because here's another thing that we probably don't have time to talk about, but like, as a mom, you have this new mom body, and it might be too overstimulation of kids hugging you and kissing you and all these things. And so you might be looking at your husband like, I done had these kids all day. Don't you touch me. Don't you kiss me. Don't you look at me, right? But baby girl, do the internal work that you need to do to get back to you. Maybe it's saying, hey, babe, listen, I need a day. Maybe let me stay at a hotel so that I can get my life together, and I'll call you when I'm ready for you. Whatever it is, listen, we got tips, tools, strategies to put in your toolbox, y'all. We here. We're making sure you got everything you need.
Yes, and I'm just telling women, like, I said this yesterday. A lot of men that I've spoken to have said women think that men want a new thing, right? That men are always looking for a new thing. And I told my wives yesterday, I said, he's not actually looking for a new thing. He's looking for the old thing that used to be the new thing. He missed his girl. He missed his friend. He missed his boo, the girl I used to encourage him, the girl I used to love to be intimate, the one that used to sneak off in the bathroom when you had quickies in the car.
I was just about to say in the car.
right. He misses his friend. He doesn't want anybody else. But so many men are crying out, Elaine, that my wife does not sleep with me anymore. My wife puts everybody before me. My wife put the kids before me. My wife put her mother and her family before me. My wife put her sorority sisters before me. My wife puts me on the back burner. And I was talking about, I know we're all juggling things, right? We got 5 things we're juggling. And I was trying to explain to them, out of those 5 things you're juggling, if you can only juggle 3, you better make sure your husband is one of the things that don't hit the floor.
It's so powerful.
You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff you could drop, and you need to know what you can drop. But you can't keep dropping your man because you're going to crack him and he's going to break and he's going to go to outside sources. And I'm not only talking about side chicks, but side chicks are a major issue because husbands are not getting what they need in the home and they're asking and they're begging and they're thirsty. But our men are going out to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol and porn. So I want you to talk a little bit about like prioritizing him when it comes to the kids have basketball, the kids got this, I got to go to parent teacher conference, my mother and them need me over here. How do you make sure you keep Daryl as a priority?
So this is going to sound so, yeah, this is going to sound so selfish, but like I have to put me as a priority first. I think that whenever I had it the opposite way around, like, let me make sure he's good. Let me make sure he's affirmed. Let me make sure I literally was drowning to the point where I was having like really bad panic attacks just because it gets to be so much. So if this is you, sis, I see you, I honor you, and you're not alone. Let me tell you something. You got to be good with you. You got to be good with you before anybody else. You need to be good with you because for most women that I know, we are the chief home officers, right? We're the ones that are making sure that the home is running and the dinner's cooked and the house is clean and all these other things that are going on. But I also know that I have to make sure that my husband not only feels supported and feels protected and affirmed, but that he knows that he's a priority. So how do you do that? Can that happen? Does that exist? It absolutely exists. Here's the thing. When I told you, when I first started this conversation, I was telling you that men are not mind readers. They're not. I have gone to tons of couples retreats. I've even led a wife study at my church just because I love these conversations. And what I found is that men, if you, again, they're very black and white. So like, we'll take Daryl, for example. I'll use my own experience. If I'm telling him like, listen, I don't want to have sex because the clothes need to be washed and this needs to be done and the kids need to do this, blah, 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 blah. He's like, oh, that was it? Okay, well, the dishes are in the dishwasher and the laundry, because here's the thing, he gonna make sure he get what he need. So what does Elaine need to make sure that he gets what he needs, which is that intimacy and respect, right? Respect has never left the table, but the intimacy thing, it is a big deal. We hear these conversations all the time. But you have to know, why are you tired? Why isn't he a priority? What are you overstimulated? And you have to literally say these things out of your mouth. Hey, I'm overwhelmed with the kids. Hey, we have a lot of laundry, or I don't feel like cooking. Pinky promise he does not have an issue calling for pizza, Chinese, or going to Chipotle. Pinky promise he doesn't. I pinky promise he doesn't. But if you cannot verbalize what you need to make sure that you're good with you, what are we doing then? What are we doing then? And so what I want you to do, right? If we're thinking about like, what's the takeaway? What is the takeaway? The takeaway is, do you know who you are when you don't have the title of a wife and you don't have the title of a mom and you don't have a career? Who are you and what do you like? What I know about Elaine enjoys health and wellness. Elaine loves reading books. Elaine enjoys taking walks. There are things that I know that I don't need anybody else's company because I'm good with me. I'm good sitting in silence with my own thoughts and my own presence and being good with me. But that took time. And here's the thing. If you're sitting here and you're feeling like I don't have time, you better make time because you don't have as much time as you think you have. Like Trey and I were just talking before the show started about how people are literally losing their lives and they're passing away. I don't want you to live one more second not feeling unfulfilled. Not on my watch. Okay. Not on my watch. Not in your marriage. Not in your relationship. We don't have time to waste. What do we do? If you're so unhappy in your relationship, what are you doing to get better? It starts with sharing how you feel. And so now everything is shareable. Everything is figure outable. If I'm sad, I'm going to say, hey, honey, I'm not feeling it. Right. And so as long as he's aware of why I feel the way that I do, or he's aware of my mood, then he can enter the relationship bringing his best to the table too, because I'm not expecting you to always be at a 10. Sometimes your girl's at a 1, and you know what? That's okay. But if I'm at a 1 and I'm taking my 1 energy out on him without telling him I'm on a 1, that's a you. That was on me, right? Because I didn't share that.
That is so good. That
Girl.
girl, listen, you should be doing this like every night for what I mean, you can't, but because we still trying to juggle a lot of stuff right now. The work, health, career, health,
Yeah.
marriage balance is a real thing. And again, I understand that. I totally get it. So let's talk about how do you take off the CEO podcast, all of these important things that are going on for you. How do you know to come into the house and take that hat off? How do you do it?
That is so good, Trey. Yo, she be asking me questions. Don't nobody ever ask me. So I'm like, how do I do that? Honestly, knowing. So, guys, let me tell you something. I am a church girl, church girl. Okay. I like love God, love God. And I think being able to surrender, there's beauty in surrender. That's why I totally hate this whole topic of like submission, not submission. We could go on a tangent about that. But for me, there's something beautiful of just surrendering all of these hats and who you are and all of these titles and just walking in the fullness of who you were created to be, right? No makeup, no lashes, in my sweats, in a tank top, not even wearing a bra. Who am I? And can I bring that version of Elaine? What I love most about my marriage, my favorite thing about my marriage is when we can be doing absolutely nothing and just loving the fullness of who we are. That's how you know you're in a good, healthy relationship. When I don't have to figure everything out, when I don't have to answer every question, when you can meet me where I am, that I call it surrender. Some people call it submission, but that's a Daryl and Elaine thing. It's not just when Daryl walks in this house, he's not doctor, he's not principal, right? He's just walking in, surrendering, and just walking in the fullness of who he is in this house. And there's beauty in that authenticity, and there's beauty in that transparency. And that's how you win. That's how you win. I think so many people walk into marriages and relationships with the representative, right? Like, I want to walk in with the best version of myself. I think Daryl and I work because we've seen the lowest versions of ourselves and still accept and love each other in spite of. Oh, wait, are you on mute?
I was on mute. I'm sorry. My
Okay.
kid came in the room and I had to send him back on his way. To my women who have a problem when I mention the word submission, I want you to consider using the word surrender if that makes you feel better.
Better.
Because I believe submission is a natural thing when you're with the right person. It's not even a task or a chore to submit to your man when he's the right person because he is automatically submitting to you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When you use the word submission, oh, he doesn't do, he got to earn that. And I'm like, if you with a man that you can't submit to, you should ask yourself a question of why did I allow myself to be in this situation, right?
Trey,
Because
can I give y'all some church? Because I learned this last year and it transformed my. So, guys, in the whole creation, right? In the whole creation of Adam and Eve, when the Bible says that Eve was created, right? And then the verbiage says like Eve was the helpmate to Adam, right? It was something along those lines. Like, I know for sure it was Eve was the helpmate to Adam. And so we use that. The society, pop culture, mainstream has used that to define wives, right? You are the helpmate and you are the helpmate. And that's why women have these issues with submission because it goes into the helper or helpmate. But let me give you some real good Bible, okay? The word helpmate that used was translated in English, but the reality is when it was really like put together in its original language, the word helpmate, right? In a different language was only used in the Bible when God described Eve to being the helpmate for Adam And this is about to give y'all goosebumps when he talks about the Holy Spirit and
Mm,
how it is a helpmate to us today. And so we take this word helpmate and we use it as under and submission. Nah, baby girl, you were created to be the supporting actress, okay? You were created to make sure that you were the counselor. You're giving counsel, you're giving wisdom, you're giving comfort. It's not a, oh, it's below. Baby girl, when God used the word helpmate to describe the Holy Spirit, who is equal to Jesus and God, and he used that to describe Eve to Adam, that's not a underneath me. That's an equal to. That's an equal to. And so we have to get under, we have to get out of our minds that helpmate and submission is under, and I'm not going to be serving nobody, and I know better, and I don't know. Let me tell you something. In order for this to work, sometimes you're going to submit. And I pinky promise, sometimes he's going to submit too. It's a dance. It's a dance. It's not a directional thing of I'm always going to be in back of you and I'm always going to be the co-pilot and I'm always going to be second. It's where are we moving? Okay, we doing the cha-cha or are we doing the salsa? Are we doing the bachata or are we doing the Cupid shuffle? Where are we moving so that I know my place?
woo. Girl, you are one bad sister. Let me just tell you that. No, I'm so serious. Like, I love listening to you because I desire one day to be married, right? And when I'm listening to my wives and they telling me, Trey, there's some things you're gonna have to do. Sometimes I say to myself, you're not even ready for that. You're not even ready for that, girl. You talking about you want a husband. You're not even ready to be somebody's, second, or you're not even ready to play that position. So I just love to listen to you. Now, again, I want you to talk about, you said something, you said you had to go to parent teacher night with your son, and
Mhm.
Daryl had to go lead parent teacher night at his school.
Right.
So many women will be mad because he can't be in both places at one time. Like, you got to go to his parent teacher conference because that's both of our kids. How did you get to a place of, you need to make sure you schedule parent teacher nights at your school, Daryl, when it's not our children's parent teacher night? I don't care what you got to do it. How did you get to a place of saying, okay, he's not going to be at the parent teacher night and I'm okay with that? I'm going to go represent.
I think it's because that mantra of like same mission, different positions, right? And it's funny because you honestly, guys, if I'm being super transparent, this whole idea of dividing and conquering came from when I first gave birth to Eva. This was 2010. I had gained 52 pounds, so I feel insecure. I had this new body. I had this new baby. I'm on maternity leave. So the only person I'm talking to is this crying child. Meanwhile, Daryl gets up and he goes to work every day and goes back to his normal life. And so I start to feel resentment of like, yo, my entire life, body, universe changed. And you get up and you go to work. Then you come home from work and you're playing Madden while I'm doing the bath time and doing this. And I was getting my master's at the time. And so I just felt so overwhelmed. So I got so Puerto Rican, okay? Put Eva down. She was maybe like 6 weeks, marched downstairs into the basement, and he had the nerve to be playing Madden. And I'm just like, this is not fair. Like, my life changed, your life stayed the same. Again, gray, right? Here go Daryl, black and white. Well, if you needed help, why you just didn't tell me I needed help? That was the first lesson. That was the first lesson. We had been married for 2 years at that point. That was the first lesson that I realized this man ain't got a clue. Not that he don't got a clue, but that I literally need to tell him, hey, your kid too. Hey, your daughter too. Hey, your responsibility too. And so I had this friend that worked with me. That's why this program, mentorship, even in marriage, is so important. She had been married for 10 years and she's like, hey, listen, when I was married, my husband and I, we would take turns. I would put her to bed one night, do the bottle, do the thing. The next night he would do it. So I was like, cool. So I get home the next day. Well, he gets home. I was already at home. And I said, babe, listen, in order for us to make this work, are you willing to put Eva to bed, do the nighttime routine and everything so that I could get my schoolwork done and I could have some me time without this child, and then we'll reverse? He was like, absolutely. Ding, 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 ding. He's not a mind reader. But if I tell him what I need to support me, to make sure my mind is right, to make sure I'm still the priority, to make sure my cup is full, he's willing to do that. Why? Because at the end of the day, sis, he loves me the same way your husband, your spouse, your partner loves you. Okay. And so ever since then, we were able to divvy up to the point that when we had our son, So my daughter was born 2010. My son was born 2014. We kept the same schedule. So even Ian, they would have their bath night the same night, bedtime routine. Monday was me, Tuesday was Daryl, Wednesday was me, Thursday was Daryl. And so we learned the importance of not only supporting each other and supporting our children, but we're winning when we both feel heard, when we both feel seen, when we both feel supported. And so we use this strategy to different areas of our marriage. So yes, our kids are 8 and 12 now, so they're a little bit more independent, right? But if I know that Daryl has his back to school night, I'm going to go represent for us at my son's back to school night. Next week, Eva has hers. Daryl's going to go represent for us there. It's all about communication. Men, husbands, partners, spouses, they are not mind readers. Some women want men to come home and say, you know what? Don't worry about it, babe. I got it. Because they don't want to say, hey, can you do the dishes? You want the men to automatically come into the room and do the dishes. What is the goal? The goal is that the dishes get done. Whether I'm telling you or you're offering, guess what? They're going to get done. For me, I love flowers, right? I love flowers. And so I will be like, babe, can you buy me some flowers? Some women will be like, he not just going to come and know that I want flowers. No, now homeboy on a rotation. Why? Because I made the expectation clear. If he doesn't know that flowers are important to me or that they make me feel special, he's going to think, oh, well, I'll give it to her Valentine's Day.
Right.
Heavy rotation. Why? Because he knows that it makes my heart smile, right? So
Right.
it's like being very clear. And to the point, y'all, I know this is going to make some of y'all laugh. Don't buy me flowers for $200. Go to Acme, get me $20 flowers so that we stay in this budget so we can still go to Turks next summer, right? It's like down to where you getting these flowers from so that we can still hit our financial goals.
Right. And so many women say this, and you hit such a point. So many women say he should just know.
No, he don't know.
That's what they think, though.
Why don't know?
Tell him he should just know? But in that point, and we had this conversation with a Dr. Carter last night before last, was it? And he said, a lot of times Black women play victim, and they don't even know when they're part of the problem or being the villain. Instead of just saying, Daryl, I like flowers, you're making yourself mad by saying he should just know when you could just solve the problem. But you're really sitting there saying to yourself, I'm mad at him because he should just know, when all you had to do was say, when you come home from work, bring me some flowers.
Stop by Giant and bring me some flowers.
But again, they're still going to have a problem with what we're saying right now.
But it can't get clearer than that. What's the problem?
Because he should know. This is what they say.
He don't know. He don't know. He don't know. See, I don't know how clear do we have to make. At the end of the day, the goal is joy. The goal is joy. How are we going to get to joy? Whether I tell you, hey, stop and get the flowers, or he knows to get the flowers. Do you get the flowers? Yes. Do you have the joy? Yes.
Yes. It's just that simple. And I always say this, common sense just ain't so common, because women say, well, what if he doesn't deserve me to do whatever it is that I'll say? Be nice to your husband. Treat your husband nice. Talk nice to you. Be his biggest cheerleader. Do the things you used to do him when you first met him. Well, he turned me into this. And I'm just like,
you better turn back.
Come on, please.
Guys, I watch this. You guys, because I don't know if you noticed this by now, but I do so much reading, so much viewing of podcasting. And so Deion Sanders has said, women typically give what they want, right? And so this is a true story. I'm very big on affirmations. I do affirmations with my children. I teach it to women how to affirm themselves, right? And so I text my husband every single day. And I do it because I want to do it. I text him when he's at work. He's a leader of a school. He got 1,000 kids, 65 staff. And so I'm like, hey, you're brilliant. Walk in your greatness. I love you. Next day, hey, I love you. You look so sexy today. The next day, oh, and it'll be day after day after day. I don't get it. Sometimes I get a thumbs up on the Apple. Sometimes I get a heart. Sometimes I get a I love you too. But I'm doing it because however his day is going, I want him to know, yo, you got this, right? And so today I get a little message that says, you are such a queen. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. So it didn't happen immediately, right? But I think he's starting to get, yo, this makes me feel good. Let me make sure my wife feels good, right? So I don't want you to take anything Trey's saying and anything that I'm saying and using it as like, well, if he don't do it in 2 weeks, I'm saying whether he responds or not, this is in my nature, in my character. I affirm people. Trey could call me to every time Trey DMs me, hey, what's up, greatness? I'm affirming her because I love to see her win. That's me as a person. So you guys think that you're going to take these tips, tools in your relationship. Who are you as a woman? Who are you as a woman? Are you a joy to be around when you go to your girls' night out? Are you a joy to be around in your church, but you expect to be a joy in your marriage?
Yep. Yeah, and I say it all the time. Elaine, you on point tonight, girl. They are so nice to everybody else. And then they say, well, I behave like this because he didn't do this or he wasn't that. And it's like, be the best version of yourself for him like you are for everybody else that's not doing anything for you. Your
Yes.
homegirls, the church, the sorority sisters that are not that they don't even you don't even require them to do anything for you to be nice to them. But you require your husband to meet a standard for you to be nice to him, but they can't hear that.
And let me tell you this, code switching is so exhausting. Code switching, you want to oh yeah, how you doing, Mr. Brown? And then come home and have an attitude. That's exhausting, guys.
Come on, this is so good. I'm trying to tell you, like, the person who is closest to you should get the most love.
Yes, agreed.
And again, like, so many women are matching their husband's energy. So many women are tit for tat. And it is literally destroying relationships, especially in Black families, because Black men's energy a lot of times is not up because what he's dealing with as a Black man in the world. So when he walks through that door, you cannot match his energy if a white woman held her purse when he got on the elevator,
That's
if
right.
the boss cursed him out, if people treated him a certain way just because he's a Black man, if he had the worst day of his life walking down that street in that store, got followed around, and then he comes home and his energy is not loving in the way it's supposed to be, he needs a minute to get back to himself. You matching his energy, and you notice about us as women, Elaine, once we match somebody's energy, it's hard to get us back on a happy track.
That's
So
so
now you just matching his energy. You mad at him because he came home upset yesterday, and you don't even know that his boss tore him a new butthole. So you're mad from yesterday on Monday, which then when he comes home, he doesn't even know why you're mad because he had an experience at work that his energy. So you're matching, and Tuesday you still mad because of his energy was low on Monday. You get what I'm saying? So then you
absolutely.
he's like, why is she walking around here with an attitude? He doesn't even realize you're matching his energy for Monday.
Right. Right.
Crazy. So let everybody know, please give the wives first some final words, and then let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. So final words I would say is go get that book. What's it like to be married to me? I think it's such a eye-opening book into your actions, what you do, how you speak, things that you think you put in boxes in your soul that you don't realize show up in your marriage is what that challenges you to do. And I'm a big component of just like, do the work on yourself and watch it change your life. Literally watch it change your life. But final words is give what you want to receive.
Mm.
Give what you want to receive. And don't do it with expectation. Do it because you want to, right? It's just like, I want to affirm my husband. I want to honor him. I want joy. The next thing I'm going to tell you is I did this 2 years ago. I read this book, another book, Girl Wash Your Face, and she had did this 30-day sex challenge with her husband. And every time I say that, people clench their invisible pearls, like 30-day sex challenge. Oh my gosh, who's having sex for 30 days? What if I get my period? Everybody's in the weeds, again, in the gray.
Come
It's
on.
right. It's try it. Try it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be sexy. I think it's going to bring you guys together to the point where he's going to get excited of like, oh my gosh, it's day 15. Where are we going to do it? Right. It's just like, it's exciting. I think that's definitely another thing that'll help your marriage.
I
The
can't wait to
next-
get home.
Can't wait to get home. Right.
home. Men are not coming home. They trying to stay at the office until they kick them out of the office. They going on their way home. They're stopping to do this and that. A 30-day sex challenge, and he gonna be like, I can't wait to go home. It's 12 o'clock. Come on.
Hey guys, I know you guys are like 30 days. I pinky promise. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. Try it. Then let us know. Report back to Trey and let us know how you think. And then the next thing is be good to you. Be good to you. As women, we carry so much too. We're so responsible too. Give yourself grace, babe. You are so worthy. You are so beautiful. You are so loved. You're so gifted. You're so talented. So much so that God created you because there ain't no other person like you. And once you start owning that, once you start walking in that, once you have that confidence, that version of you shows up in every single room, in your marriage, in the boardroom, as a mom. And we should own that. Maybe you were never taught to own that. Start today. Maybe you don't even know where to begin. Start to go back to all of Trey's different videos, like whatever she's teaching you, because I'm telling you, people think that women like us are born confident, and we just do the work. We just do the work.
Yes. Now tell everybody where they can find you, some programs.
Oh, yes.
On your
You're going to find me, mogulmami.com, MOGULMAMI. That is all things encompassing of Elaine. Mogul is a word that's not used in our community, and so I'm bringing it back. Very important person, right? Mogul Mami, MAMI, because I'm Puerto Rican. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's Elaine_G_Johnson, Elaine G for Gonzalez Johnson, and Facebook, Elaine Mogul Mami. But I adore you, Trey. You are phenomenal. You're changing so many lives. I thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you so much. And for y'all that don't know, this is Daryl and Elaine from the video where we asked how long should you wait to get married, and Daryl said Elaine set him straight, made him throw his whole entire little black book away because she was not playing no games. He said I said, what is one thing that really made you attracted to your wife? And he said, one thing that I find so attractive in women is when they know who they are, when they are confident and they're not taking it. He said, and he showed up as a king because a queen challenged him.
Amen.
She was ready to walk away. She was. Some of y'all did that on the ride home. She was ready to let go, and she was ready to let him go and let him grow. And she literally let him go, and it did not take long for him to grow, because that brother came right back and said, "Yo,
right on back like a boomerang."
Nope. He said, "I'm strong with my block game. We don't game." So thank you so much, Elaine. Like, you are just a breath of fresh air. You are hope to the hopeless women who are sacrificing love, who are sacrificing life for a career. And you do it so well. You balance this thing so well. And again, you make sure you're okay first, and you take off the table whatever is not a priority that's overwhelming you. And I'm so glad that you're teaching women that self-care is not selfish. That is important for them to take care of themselves, because we're no good to anybody if we're no good to ourselves. And we're going to leave you guys on that note. Thank you so much for tuning into the Trey Kearney Show. And guess what? She said what she said. We'll see y'all next time. Peace and blessings. And again, make sure you're taking care of yourself so that you can be good to everyone around you. Love y'all.